Tim, John, I don't see Channel 8 here. Do you know what's going on? Okay. We'll just go without them. We'll go without them then. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't either, Tim. You did. Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned the Marion Sims statue. There's a. Yeah. Okay. Exactly. Well, we're gonna go with that because we gotta move. Yeah. Thank you. Bye. He said he reviewed the writing, verbally, and every other way. He said, I don't know what else I could do. You gonna start off like that?
Yeah, that's how she was in the picture.
Okay. Does Greer want to come over here? Greer? Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm Dr. J. Marion Sims from the great state of South Carolina. I came to Montgomery in 1840, 21 years before the Civil War began. That is really the War of Northern Aggression, but don't get me started on those damn Yankees. So I came here to set up a medical practice specializing in gynecology, working on women. And I set up, in fact, right down the street there on South Perry Street. You can go right next to Mama's Sack Lunch. The office is still right there, just maybe 3 or 4 steps off Dexter Avenue. So, using the surgical techniques that I developed, I got quite famous. I got fairly rich and known all over the parts, and ended up leaving Montgomery, going to New York, and I even set up my own hospital in New York. So I became really quite famous. And that could be the end of my story right there. But that's the top of history, not the bottom. A lot of times history will have a bottom in addition to a top. And if you'll listen a minute, I'll tell you about the bottom of the history. The bottom of the history is this. When I came to Montgomery to set up my practice, I found out that the white women here were real particular. They wouldn't go to the doctor at all unless they're about ready to die. So I had a real problem about getting patients initially starting off. But then I also looked around Montgomery, and it's full of cotton fields, all around. You look around it, all full of cotton fields. And in those cotton fields are black slaves. A lot of those black slaves are women, old women, young women, in between. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, if I could borrow some of those slave women, that would be a great way that I could develop my procedures, and I'd have access to plenty of women. So I made arrangements with the owners of the slaves to loan them out to me. And of course, it's anesthesia. And bad as it sounds, because everybody knew in that day that black women were not nearly as sensitive to pain as were white women. So it really wasn't something to be that concerned about. So I continued my practice. I did get quite rich. I did move to North Carolina, back to New York, and they even put up a statue bigger than this one in New York City in Central Park. So I'm a famous doctor. But you'll also notice I have blood on my hands from what I did. And what I would ask you to do, each one, look at history. Look at the top part and look at that bottom part that's sometimes forgotten or not told about. And so when you know the bottom part and the top part, then you'll know how to avoid getting blood on your hands.
Blood on your hand? Blood on your hand?
Yes.
Master Sim, we bleed every day. You took my baby. You killed my baby. You killed our babies from which come from heaven. You locked heaven doors, and now I can't make water. My insides hurt like the raging sea. that we came over here on the boat. Our mamas told us about. My heaven is closed. I am Anarcha. You locked it up. My body is just full of tears and blood. Blood on your hands. What about little Lucy and Betsy? What about them? You had many surgeries on us, over 30 on me alone. No anesthesia. May the God you call answer our cries and send you to hell. I am woman, giver of life. You lock my doors and cause it to be a drought of no fruit. I am woman. I am creation. I was a fertile force. I'm not creation anymore, but I am woman. So blood on your hands, blood on your soul.
Well, little sweet girl, you just don't understand about progress. That's what's wrong with you. You just don't understand about progress.
You kill us. You kill our babies. And you still bringing us in. Girl after girl. Girl after girl to test. You give us no medicine. We scream for days. You give white women medicine. Why not us? Just the devil. And may God take you back to the pit of hell that you came. I was a fertile force. I was woman. I am woman.
Well, little girl, still, you don't understand about progress. Think about this. We've got I-65 and I-85 in Montgomery. They run right through what used to be a thriving black community. And that community is completely now destroyed and is still struggling from that destruction. But think about that wonderful highway out there. Isn't it nice to have that highway running up and down?
Think about our babies you killed. Think about the insides you destroyed. Think about how it's not our black communities anymore because our babies are dead. Made this battle and snatched them out, ripping them from our insides. You didn't give us any pain pills. We can't make water. We can't even make tears anymore. Just blood. We bleed all day. And you don't even try to stop the bleeding. No progress.
Well, some people just don't understand progress, do they? Yeah, some people will never learn. But I ask you to look at history, learn the top part, learn that hidden part that oftentimes doesn't get told, and you make up your mind what's the right thing to do.
Today is the Confederate Memorial Day, and in Alabama, we still, for our ancestors, the blood that this man caused to happen to our ancestors, the blood on his soul and the blood on his hands shall forever be a reminder of how they want to remember their history, but forget our offerings. We won't ever let you forget either. The blood on your soul will forever be, as long as you say you want to remember, a hateful man like this. He wasn't a founder of gynecological sciences. He was a butcher. He didn't try to save black babies. He just used us like guinea pigs. Know your history. This statue needs to be removed. They just removed the one in New York. Demand that this statue be removed and put Martin Luther King here. Think positive. Put something positive here. Is this a true reflection of what Alabama is?
Thank you, everyone.